Welcome to the Female CEO podcast, hosted by Mark Sefton. You may know her name, but do you know her story? This podcast takes you behind the titles and into the moments that shape some of today's most inspiring women. We explore the paths they've taken, the businesses they've built, and how they've created success on their own terms. Created by the Female CEO Create, Evolve, Overcome, these are honest, human conversations, rooted in real experience. Let the journey begin.
Welcome to the Female CEO podcast. Today's guest believes that our greatest challenges can become the foundation for powerful leadership. Annyx Day is an RTT therapist, a speaker, a mentor, and the founder of Living Life Above, where she helps people rise above adversity, strengthen their mindset, and step into a life and leadership rooted in purpose. Today, we're talking about turning personal struggles into leadership strength, building resilience as a female leader, and how choosing a life above our circumstances can shape the way we lead and impact others. Annyx, welcome to the Female CEO podcast.
Thank you very much for having me. I'm honored to be here, and this is my pleasure.
Great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this as well. And I think, we're sitting in April. I'm thinking, holy smokes, we just started Q2. Like, what's happened there?
I feel the same way. It feels like it was just yesterday that it was still 2025, and all of a sudden the new year was here among us, and now we're in April. It's gone by so quickly. The point is to enjoy every single day.
Yeah, I think so. I don't know whether it's an age thing, Annyx, that time just seems to go quicker.
Yes, it's true. I feel the same way. Yeah, I'm 52 now, and I don't wonder where the time has gone, because I've been very present and mindful of all, the ups and downs and the successes and everything. But it has gone by quickly. It really has. Yeah.
I can't believe you're 52.
Yes.
I think if you're listening to this, you need to go to the YouTube channel and have a look at Annyx, because there's no way you're 52.
I am. Yeah. Yeah. I just turned 52 in February.
That's wild.
Well,
You
thank
look
you.
better than a lot of 40-year-old women that are out
Well,
there,
thank you.
Annyx.
I appreciate that, and I will take that beautiful comment. Thank you.
Yeah, obviously we're going to get the podcast started in a moment, but is there a reason why you look so youthful? Would you put that down to anything in particular?
Whole bunch of things. I obviously take care of myself. I take care of my health, my mind, my body, and my soul. That has been a purpose ever since I've been doing RTT, ever since I've learnt it and now pay it forwards. But even last year I was really concentrating on healing my mind, body, and soul as a whole, right? And I believe that I've achieved that, but it's an ongoing thing, right? It's an everyday thing. But I do take care of myself, and it makes a difference. But also, it's not just on the outside; it's on the inside as well, right? When you feel at peace, when you feel that you have freedom in your life, when you're following your purpose, that's a huge thing. That makes a huge difference. Um, but I get to do that, and I know that it reflects, from me. So that
Yeah.
I would attribute all of those things to why I look so young. So thank you.
Yeah. Well, you're a great advert, so
Thank you.
everybody should be listening really carefully now to this, because I think as much as I love words, I'm an author. I love words. I love the power of voice, but words can be cheap as well. And so to live out what you're talking about, I think there's no greater advert than people being able to see that.
Hmm.
Now,
I agree.
Alex, many women build their leadership journeys from deeply personal experiences. Can you maybe share a story that led you to create Living Life Above?
Where do I begin? This has been a lifelong thing, honestly. I'll start by this. I knew from a very young age, so I would say age 5, 6, or 7, what my purpose was. I always wanted to inspire people to move beyond life's challenges, obstacles, because Lord knows there are some, right? Life is not just all roses and happy-go-lucky times. There are a lot of heartaches. There are a lot of obstacles and things that you have to overcome, or at least, well, you should overcome. And I believe that my journey started there. Um, I knew from a young age that I wanted to inspire people to move beyond what feels like is going to hold you down forever, or will shade your path or anything like that. So that's where my journey begins. And kind of fast forward, I've had a lot of ups and downs, a lot of successes, a lot of, heartbreak. And it's within those moments, regardless of the moment, good or bad, I've always evolved. I've always learned something from them. But I would argue that I've learned more from my heartaches, from the defeats. And I've learned and developed my resilience because of it. I always say resilience is built by building resilience. And so, if I can give you examples of what those heartaches have been, um, like many people, I've suffered childhood trauma. I've had a lot of grief in my life, a lot of loss in my life. I had anxiety, stress, PTSD. I've suffered postpartum depression, and RTT was the catalyst that changed everything for me. Every single thing. Before I knew about RTT, before I started learning about it, I had, followed traditional therapy. I had gone myself to therapy to get healing from what was weighing me down. And this is not to say one is better than the other, but traditional therapy helped me to a certain degree. It helped me to, I guess, not stay in that deep sadness or loneliness, but there was always still something there. And so when I discovered RTT, when I started learning about it, I was like, oh my God, this is it. This is amazing. And thanks to Marissa Peer, she's the founder and creator of RTT. And just as an aside, like I tell my clients, she was a traditional therapist for over 30 years, 35 years, and she created RTT based on why can't I get immediate results or at least quicker results from my clients? They shouldn't have to suffer for so long and come to see me for years and years and years. And so that's where RTT was created. And RTT stands for Rapid Transformational Therapy. And that's exactly what that is. And so when I, like I said, discovered RTT, learned about it, within 6 sessions, I was able to heal myself. Everything that I mentioned, the childhood trauma, the PTSD, the grief, the loss, the anxiety, the postpartum depression, I was able to heal myself from them to a bigger extent that traditional therapy could. And if I can go into a bit more of, because anybody can say like, oh, I've had this, I've had that, but I'll go into a bit of detail. Um, so PTSD stemmed from, childhood trauma, but also I was a police officer. I've had many careers before this one. And I was a police officer as well. And unfortunately, I was shot at during one of my calls. Yeah. And obviously, everything ended up well because I'm here speaking with you. But I did suffer from PTSD because of it. 3 weeks later, my career ended because I suffered a permanent knee injury. Um, so, just like that, my career was over. And so I had a lot of PTSD. I had a lot of grief because of it and stuff like that. So that's where the PTSD stems from. and also being in the emergency management field for so long. I've done probably at least 25 years of emergency management, not necessarily as a police officer, but different careers. And so that weighs on you after a certain time. But I definitely had PTSD. And notice how I'm using past tense, right? Because I don't have PTSD anymore. I was able to resolve that, heal that, and move beyond. Grief and loss. Like I said, I've lost a lot of people in my life. Like a lot of people, I know I'm not the only one. Um, I also lost my best friend to breast cancer 12 years ago, and that was huge. That was huge. And I seeked traditional therapy probably a couple of years after, and it helped, but to a certain degree. Um, 2 months after my best friend's passing, my husband and I suffered a miscarriage. So that was huge. It was like a compound effect, right? Like I lost well, I say lost. My career as a police officer ended. Um, my best friend passed away. We had a miscarriage. My husband and I had a miscarriage. And just everything, like just it kind of snowballed and snowballed. And then all of a sudden, it's almost like, the straw that broke the camel's back, right? And the postpartum depression would be an accumulation of all of those things, right? Because I always thought, like, oh my God, what if this is going to happen again? What if I'm going to, lose my child? And so hence that's where the anxiety comes in. So anyway, all of that, and that's why now I do what I do. I pay it forwards because life happens, right? All of these things, I'm sure other people, it resonates with other people because they're like, "Oh my god, that's happened," or I know somebody that's happened to, and, um, maybe RTT would be good for them as well. And so now I pay it forwards, and I help as many people as I can with the healing that it brought me, so that's why.
Hmm. Man, there's so much to reflect back there, Alex.
Probably not what you expected, eh?
No, but I know that obviously within like therapy and hypnotherapy, I think the choice of words is really, really important. I think the fact that you get shared like more detail is equally really important too, because I think, we hear certain words like PTSD, right? Anxiety. And I think we kind of tune it out a little bit because we hear it. We hear anxiety. Like even pets have got anxiety. It's like,
Mm,
wow. And I think sometimes we then are dismissive of maybe some of the things that we hear, right? So when you talk about PTSD, but then you actually talked about how you were shot at, for me, that just adds more of an awakening to the journey you've been on. I think that's really important that when we are creating, when we're communicating, when we're sharing, I think detail is really important, and we don't make enough of that. So I love the fact that you have kind of gone further than what most people do, because most people say I suffer with PTSD, but I don't feel like it hits the spot until you actually give it the detail. And then I feel like then you can have people's attention, and people can be like, okay, I'm going to listen to this person because they've actually been through it.
mhm,
And I think that's really important. You were obviously talking about evolving, and that you've evolved most during like the biggest like challenges of pain. And I'm a big believer that when we hurt most, we grow most.
mhm.
And obviously, the evolve part is the middle part of what CEO stands for: create, evolve, and overcome. So it's very aligned with what we're creating here with Female CEO. Um, love Marissa Peer. Interviewed her, as you probably know, and
Is amazing.
actually spoke to her last week. So I believe in what she's created, and I love the fact that you obviously have had your life impacted by her work, and now you're doing the same. And I think that's really just the essence of leadership anyway. It's it's what we experience and how we're led and how we lead ourselves to then taking it and leading other people.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I wholeheartedly agree. If I can touch on what you said, um, that you appreciate that I, gave details and I went into what how PTSD affected me or how anxiety affected me, how grief affected me. It's hugely important, and some people don't even know. They were given the term "you have PTSD," right? Because of something happened, but it's really looking inside what happened to understand how PTSD affected the person, but also that they can heal from it. They don't need to stay stuck with the heaviness of the PTSD, the traumatic experience that PTSD brought. There is resolve, and this is why I'm here. This is why I do what I do, is to dig deep, right? RTT, rapid transformational therapy, is all about going to the root and the cause and the reason of the issue, and I'm sure Marissa, explained that at the outset. That's what we do, and it's not like traditional therapy where you work backwards. We go directly to what caused the issue in the first place. And so that's why for a lot of things, it stems from childhood trauma, or maybe early adulthood. It depends on the person, right? Their experience and how their lives have come about. But to understand what it means, but where it comes from is equally important. But also that you don't need to stay stuck within that. There is hope, there is help, and this is what I do. I want to help people be on the other side like I am, right? To talk about it, and like I talk about it with a smile on my face because I'm healed, right? I'm not shedding tears because I've already shed tears. I've already walked through the fire. I've already gone to the other side, felt the emotions. Marissa always says to feel is to heal. And I tell my clients that as well. You need to feel the awfulness of what happened, the unjust things that have happened, in order to be able to heal from it. And that's where I think where a lot of people get stuck, because they don't wanna feel. They feel that they're gonna relive the situation, but it's not reliving it, it's just reviewing it with fascination now because we're adults, because we're able to, really understand what happened. And of course, it's not about, "I deserved it." No, it's not that. It's to stand in your own power and say, "Yeah, I didn't deserve that. I didn't deserve what happened to me, and now I can be on the other side of it. I can stand in my power and be my own, sovereignty." So, yeah.
Yeah, I've definitely flagged and noticed that when we're able to talk about the trauma in detail, it is evidence of healing. It's the shift from speaking from your wounds to now speaking from your scars.
Yeah.
My friend Trisha Brooks said, "Speak from your scars, not your wounds." And I think that
Mhm.
when we've gone through that transformation, then we're able to be in a place where we can speak about the things that once, imprisoned us, enslaved us,
Mhm.
caused us stress,
Sure.
anxiety, difficulty. So I love that you're able to do that, because that really does say to me that, that you've reached a point where it is a scar and not a wound. And a scar is just a representation of a story.
I'll say this, I used to be ashamed of who I was and what I have lived. I used to be ashamed, and I never, ever, ever, ever talked about it, ever. And it was only in my adulthood that I actually started seeking, traditional therapy. And even then, I didn't feel comfortable talking about it. Um, and there was a shift in my mindset one day. And I realized I am not going to let what's happened to me dictate my future. I'm not necessarily proud of, what has happened, because yes, I was a victim. However, I'm not going to stay in that trauma. I'm going to rise above it, and I'm going to show other people that they can as well. And I've learned to appreciate myself even more because I would not be the type of person, or even I wouldn't be the person I am had I not gone through what I've gone through. I really haven't. Like, I really wouldn't be the person that I am today had I not gone through all of those heartaches, all of those awful things.
That's why I think the mindset of sometimes you win or sometimes you learn is the place we all need to get to, because even in
Mhm.
loss, there can be gain,
Oh, yeah,
you know, and
absolutely.
I think that it shifts the way that we navigate through life because we're so sometimes resistant and afraid of the loss, the break, the ending, the finishing of something, and yet
Mm,
sometimes it needs that for us to then expand and go from good to great.
mhm. They're like tests in life, right? The universe tests you, and I truly believe that. It tests you not in, a morbid way, but it tests you so that you can elevate, you can level up, right? You can manifest what you really want in life.
Yeah, exactly. Now, female CEOs often face moments where life challenges and leadership responsibilities collide. So you've got those two playing out. You know, we've been talking about challenges a lot in this podcast, but when you've got the leadership responsibilities as well, how do you, by your own experience that maybe perhaps has shaped you, approach leadership today when it comes to those two worlds colliding?
That's a really interesting, question, and to preface it, I have a Master of Arts, Integrated Studies, with a focus of work organization and leadership. So I have a master's in leadership, and I decided to take that route because I wanted to know more about leadership, and that was theory. In practice, it's something a bit different in terms of, like, you actually have to put the theory in practice, right? You can't just be book smart and not do what you've learned to do. And, but honestly, it's all about leading by example. You talk the talk, you walk the walk, you mean what you say what you mean, and it's honestly that simple. If you try to fake it, if you try to, manipulate leadership, it people can see it.
Yeah.
People can
Yeah.
see it and people can sense it, and that's where, you lose trust, you lose credibility and everything like that. So, I challenges are inevitable. It's all in how you see it. It's all in your mindset. Right? Either a fixed mindset or a growth mindset. That's what I teach in for coaching, right? Because I'm a rapid transformational therapy success coach as well as a hypnotherapist, and so that's what we teach, right? Mindset, shifting your mindset, being open to seeing something different than what you think it is, right? So challenges are always there. Some challenges are harder, some are easier. Some bring more of a lesson than others, but there's always something to learn from it. It's not about, and you'll see this often in on Instagram and stuff. It's not about why is this happening to me? It's about what is this teaching? When you absorb that way, it'll shift your whole perception, your whole perspective. So being a leader is number one, that, right? Talking the talk, walking the walk. What is this teaching me? It may not come to you right away, but if you keep thinking about it, if you keep just sitting in it, being mindful and, asking the universe to reveal itself, to reveal what that is, you will see it. And therefore, you can lead by example, right? I've
Is
worked
it
in
is
organizations before, and it's the same thing, right? In organizations, whether it's private sector, public sector, it's very theoretical.
Mm.
People push the theory more, well, not always, but some people push the theory more than they do the actual practice, right? But how about flipping that? It's about practicing it, right? Everybody can refer to a book and say, well, this is what leadership is. Well, what about doing it? Right? And we need that more often.
Annex, many successful women feel they have to appear strong at all times. How important do you believe vulnerability is when it comes to authentic leadership?
Oh, vulnerability. I was just reading one of my posts from earlier on Instagram, but vulnerability is where the magic happens. It's where that shift, that evolution happens, that self-betterment happens. Of course, it's nice to be strong. And yes, you should be strong, right? But that comes with confidence, right? Confidence, self-esteem, self-assuredness, and everything. And again, if you put it in practice, then it'll show. You won't even have to force it. It'll just appear. It'll happen. You will exude leadership. But it's okay to say that you have a bad day or a bad week. Everybody has a bad day or a bad week or a bad month, a bad year. What if that's teaching you something, right? Teaching you to level up, to be more confident, to fix what is happening or maybe going wrong, right? Maybe there's something more to it that once you uncover it, it will allow you to be even more strong, right? Even more resilient.
You've talked quite openly about like your own struggles and how challenges are inevitable.
Mhm.
For female founders building a purpose-driven business, how can personal experiences become a strength rather than something that they feel they need to hide from? I mean, I'd say that you're a very good example of not hiding, but what would your encouragement be to those that feel like they can't show the fact that they've had a challenge or a struggle? Because some people, they only ever put their best foot forward, don't they? And it's not like hanging up your dirty laundry in public is what I'm getting at here,
Yeah, it's
but
not.
there is a need for balance there.
Mhm. So, 2 parts. I would say to heal those wounds. Not necessarily that, the person wants to talk about them because they don't, right? I choose to talk about what I've overcome because I have healed from them, right? It's to set an example. It's to show people that you can, right? But the person that doesn't want to doesn't have to. But I would say heal those wounds. Because if you feel like you can't show up authentically, it's because you need to heal what is preventing you from being authentic. Okay. Number two, I would say if someone is not receiving the put it this way, people who appreciate you for you will celebrate you no matter what. People who criticize you for maybe not being, completely, divulging everything or being transparent, do they have your best interest at heart? Whether they be people that you know in your life or strangers, right? I always tell my clients, what does that say about a person? If they're criticizing you or saying, well, this person should be more of or less of, what is that saying about them?
Mm. My favorite thing here, Annex, is you never find someone who's out in front of you speaking behind your back,
I love that.
isn't it? Because all the people that are achieving more and are further on than us,
They will
none of them are
applaud you.
speaking behind our back.
They
It's
will
always the
applaud you.
people that are behind you that are
There's a saying. I said this recently to one of my good friends. Um, the people who talk about you have lost the privilege to talk to you.
very good.
And like I said, people who will support you will support you. They have your best interest at heart. And those who are behind speaking about you in a negative fashion, they're just not your people. And I remember you talked about that on a recent podcast. They're just not your people. And I teach that to my clients as well. And sometimes those people may be relatives, may be close friends that you think are close, but always pay attention to what is being said or what's not being said. how that person shows up in your life or doesn't show up in your life. But most importantly, you are the most important person, right? You have to applaud yourself. You have to, you know, um, boost up that self talk.
Mm,
You are the most important person. There's only one Mark Sefton. There's only one Annyx Day. Cherish that person. Applaud yourself, right?
good. It's a good reminder,
Yeah.
because I think we do take advantage of ourselves sometimes. Do you like the way that you lead yourself?
Yeah. I've learned so much and there's so much more I need to learn, but that's what life is, right? We're on this planet for many reasons, but one of them is to evolve, to learn from our mistakes, to learn from the good things that have happened, and maybe, yeah, to learn from others. But it's a constant evolution.
This. It needs to be.
It needs to be. Some people get stuck in that, I don't want to say box, but eh, I'll just do this and eh,
Yeah.
I don't live
No.
my life that way. I don't.
Now, if there's a woman listening today, Annex, who maybe feels that her challenges have actually slowed her down, maybe in her career or in her leadership journey, what would you want to remind her to really think about when it comes to the way that they view challenges?
I would tell that person to do some introspection first. Figure out what is that thing or those things that are holding her back, keeping her stuck. Um, those things that are stagnant, that aren't allowing her to evolve or to level up, to step up, to achieve what those goals and those aspirations. Figure out what that is. Again, go to the root and the cause and the reason, right? A lot of people self sabotage. A lot of people have a lack of confidence, self esteem. A lot of people have anxiety that they either want to admit or don't. A lot of people have grief, and essentially those are all my specialties. I specialize in anxiety, stress, grief, loss, confidence, self-esteem, relaxation, being grounded, even relaxation and being grounded. I have clients who come to me who have never have never felt relaxed or even don't even know what that feels like to be grounded. So again, to that woman, to that mother, to that entrepreneur, to that sister, wife, anything, right? Cousin, anybody that's listening, I would advise them to just look inwards. We all have the answers within us, and to have the courage to step forwards and say, I need help. To look me up, I will absolutely be honored to help anyone. It starts there. It really does. Mm. Again, when you walk through the fire, you get to the other side and you become the person that you were meant to.
Very good. We've only got a few moments left. The time has flown by. I reckon this is the fastest podcast that I can remember.
Really?
At least, yeah, it's just gone bosh. I feel like we've only been chatting for like 5 minutes. Wild. How do people
And
find out more
please
about
keep
you?
going.
And well, yeah, I mean, it's been really good. I took lots of notes as I always do. How do people find out more about you? And I also just want to give you a brief moment just to share anything intuitively that you really feel that you want to convey that perhaps we haven't.
People can find me on my website, livinglifeabove.com. They can, and if they want to book a session, there are call to actions there on each of my pages. Just click on that, send me a message. People can reach out to me directly at Annyx, ANNYX, at livinglifeabove.com. They can call me. By the way, I'm accepting new clients and I see clients all over the world. Or at least I can. I've seen clients within Canada, but I'm looking to expand and help clients from all over the world. And so, but if you're in my area, my phone number is 613-797-8096. But otherwise, just go look at my website. You can contact me through Instagram or Facebook. I'm on all of those social media platforms, and either Annyx Day or Living Life Above. You can find me there. The one thing that always keeps coming back is know that you're worthy of getting help. Know that you're worthy of living the life you were meant to live. I always tell my clients you have to love yourself enough to want to be better. You have to love yourself enough from the inside out. And a lot of people, do you know how a lot of people don't have self-love? And I can absolutely help with that. It's to, finding, even just coming back to who you are at the core. Forget about the noise because it's noise. Forget about everybody else. Forget about the world. You were put on this planet for a purpose. I truly believe that everybody's got a purpose. Some don't even know who they are. I ask my clients, okay, so tell me who you are. And they're stumped. They're like, I don't know. Tell me your interests. What are you good at? What are your qualities? I don't know. I'm okay, we're going to work on that, right? We're going to work on that. We're going to build yourself up again, and you will shine. You will shine. So that's what I would say is love yourself enough to know that you matter, that you deserve the life that you were meant to live.
Well said, Annyx. It's been great to have you on this episode of the Female CEO podcast. Thank you.
Yes.
You've been listening to the Female CEO podcast, created by the Female CEO Create, Evolve, Overcome. This podcast amplifies women's voices, stories, and lived experience. Subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and on our YouTube channel, and discover more at thefemaleceo.com.